Welcome to Gravlee Fitness's Health Nugget. And we're going to be discussing the holiday season, and thank God it's over. So now then, we have our resolutions, and here at Gravlee Fitness, we can make your resolutions stick like flypaper. That's a true story. But today we're going to be talking about weight loss, and that seems to be the favorite topic, I guess. And weight loss is just simply a matter of reducing your calories. You got to expend more calories than you take in. That's all there is to it. And it doesn't matter what type of calories. It's just a matter of expending more calories than you take in. And so with that, we're supposed to be nomads. And so we were supposed to travel from one place to the next. And along the way, we're eating. And so we were like finding like little nuts or berries or a rabbit, fish, whatever. And so we're eating these little small meals basically throughout the entire day. And so we do that to keep up our energy levels so we can travel from one place to the next. As I said, we're supposed to be nomads. Our physiology was set up however many thousands of years ago, and it hasn't changed. Only thing that's changed, instead of searching for food every day, we're sitting on our patucuses looking for a paycheck. That's basically it. So we're sitting in these cubicles, sitting in our offices, and we're not expending very many calories. So when you're looking at your plate, especially your main meals, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you should have a wide variety of colors. And the more colors you have, the more nutrients you have. And typically, the lower calories there are. You can have as many fruits and vegetables as you want, as long as you don't put anything on them. Like black-eyed peas, why in the world would you want to ruin them by putting fat back in the black-eyed peas? You can spice them up by different ways, rather than adding extra calories you really don't need. But anyway, so when we're looking at your plate, as I said, a wide variety of colors. So let's say you have grilled salmon with some asparagus, and then maybe some brown rice with some soybeans or something like that. And then over here on your salad, you have arugula with alfalfa and tomatoes, cucumbers with red and green peppers, and maybe a handful of pine nuts sprinkled on the top with one tablespoon of balsamic vinaigrette. Something like that. Very healthy. You can even have a little glass of red wine with that and some water. But anyway, so that's a very healthy meal that has a wide variety of colors in it. It has a balance of your proteins and your fats and your carbohydrates. Now, your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, they're called substrates. And so your substrates are what you use for energy. Most of your energy comes from your fats and your carbohydrates. Protein can be an energy source, but not really. It's mainly for tissue repair and recovery. And but so your main things are your fats and your carbohydrates. Matter of fact, if you go back and you look at the Krebs cycle and anaerobic glycolysis, where you break down your carbs, you will see that fats burn in a carbohydrate flame. It takes carbs to completely break down fats. And so there are enzymes or coenzymes that are produced in the breakdown of carbohydrates. They're used in the Krebs cycle where you break down fats. Without those, you get incomplete breakdowns of fatty acids. But anyway, that's another story. But your fats take about roughly 6, 8, 10, maybe even all the way up to 12 hours to break down, because there are a bunch of carbon molecules attached to the fat cell. So it takes a long time to break all those carbons apart. Carbohydrates can be immediate. Simple sugars mean there's very few carbons attached to it, and so the breakdown is almost immediate, all the way up to about 2 hours, roughly. And so complex carbohydrates simply means that there are a lot more carbons attached to that carbohydrate molecule, so it takes a little bit longer for them to break down. So, therefore, the more complex carbohydrates you have, the less likely there is of bonking. That's a sort of a cyclist term, I guess. And anyway, where you've run out of energy and you feel lethargic, maybe even a headache, things like that. Your brain really likes carbohydrates. It can function off of ketone bodies, which is that incomplete fatty acid thing I was talking about a little earlier, but it really likes simple sugars. And so to get more brain power, you basically make sure you keep your carbohydrate levels high. And of course, the higher quality carbs, the better. And so it's much better to have cane sugar as opposed to refined sugar. And anyway, sensible things like that. The closer you get to nature, the better it is for you, because we have the enzymes in our body to break them down. Protein. Protein takes roughly 4-ish, 6-ish hours to completely break down proteins. They're a longer carbon chain, so it takes a little bit longer for them to break down. Now, protein really isn't an energy source. It can be used as an energy source, but it has to be converted. It's converted into a coenzyme called acetyl-CoA, but that's another story, and that's used in the Krebs cycle. But it has to go to the liver, and that process has to happen. Then it has to be shipped back down to the muscles, and then it's used for fuel. So it's a very inefficient fuel source, and so that's a fuel source you might use at maybe the end of a marathon, or if there's absolutely no carbohydrates in the diet for some reason. Maybe it's from somebody going on a weird, wacky, crazy diet, or maybe there's some reason why the environment doesn't have carbohydrates in it. Then it can use protein to be a carbohydrate replacement. It's not nearly as efficient and can cause problems like kidney stones, gallstones, things like that, especially if you get dehydrated, where maybe you won't have as much kidney function, and nitrogen can build up, and ammonia, anyway, all this other stuff. There's about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. And so to lose 1 pound, you got to lose that much. And so you think, holy smoke, how can I lose 3,500 calories? Simple. Just eat smaller portions more often. Smaller portions more often. And so you want to lose about 300 to 500 calories in a day. And so that's just simply a matter of, instead of eating this much, you eat this much. A client came in with a great idea. What he uses is he had his wife go to Pier 1 and bought a bunch of salad plates. So they eat their entrees on their salad plates, and they don't go back for seconds. And so the portions are therefore smaller. Now, if he's hungry an hour or two later, he'll go and eat a little something. You're supposed to. We're supposed to be nomads. And anyway, so with that, he keeps up his energy levels, because carbohydrates are stored in the muscle, the fat, or I'm sorry, the muscle, the blood, and the liver. And so that's what you use for energy, because it's readily available in the muscles to be used, so the muscles can move. But anyway, so and so they're 3,500 calories. So smaller portions more often, and then just move. Simply move. Athletics people out there, they can run, they can climb, they can hop on a bicycle, they can swim, they can weight lift, they can do all that other stuff, but just simply moving. Like I have a client now who has lost 12 pounds. He signed up about a month ago. He's lost 12 pounds simply by watching what he's eating healthily, and he's never hungry, and just smaller portions more often. And what he does is he simply moves. He is now building some cabinets in his garage. That is his activity. And he's lost 12 pounds in a month. And he's working out here at Gravlee Fitness for 30 minutes twice a week. So there are 168 hours in the week, and he's only working out for one of those. So the rest of the time, I'm trying to get him to be as active as possible, and that's simply moving. If you have a desk job, maybe stand up more often at your desk as opposed to sitting in your chair working. Try to stand up often. Things like at lunchtime, maybe go up and down the steps as fast as you can for 5 minutes. Towel off, and then have the remainder to eat at your desk or go somewhere to eat lunch. You can also bring a change of clothes. Change clothes and go out for a jog, or run up and down the stairs, or go to the weight room or something like that, or do some push-ups at your desk. I mean, you never know. And anyway, the main thing is being active, moving. I hope that helps. We're having a nutrition class this Saturday. I hope you can join us from, I think it's at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11. And I hope to see you there. Anyway, stay tuned for the next Health Nugget, probably coming out next week. Thanks a lot.